In this episode of Flea Market Rescue, we're going to take this bowl and pitcher set that I got from the thrift store and turn it into a beautiful French basin. Then we'll take this old TV tray that I got from the thrift store for $5 and turn it into a beautiful farmhouse table. And lastly, we'll take these old terracotta pots that I got from the thrift store and turn them into beautiful garden decor. So you ready? Come on, let's do these projects. Before we start, I have to tell you about this little store that I stumbled across. This is where I got some of my supplies for this week's projects. I even ran into one of our fellow YouTubers. It was a great surprise. Hi, Vivian. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little tour here. This is Sweet and Sassy Treasures, and I found her on Facebook. Look at this buffet she painted. It is really well done. I love the stenciling. She blended it well. It's just a really nice piece. Oh, in the back here, this is where she teaches classes. She also does them online. She sells IOD stamps, and I will leave a link to her Facebook, and you can message her. She does ship, and you might see something here you like. She also sells DIY paint, and I've been wanting to try it for so long. She has all the colors, and I did buy quite a few of them. Look at this. She has waxes, things like that. And again, a lot of different colors. And they were only $13, so I couldn't help but buy a few. Oh, and then I want to show you this too. Fancy Farm Girl. I thought that would look cute on a bench. I bought one of those. And over here, she sells some transfers. She has a lot of things that are done up too that you could purchase. It was just a really cute store, and I'm so glad I stumbled onto it. Okay, so I have this pitcher and bowl set. My mom said these are really good sellers, and I picked it up for $10, which I think is a really good price. But again, it has the heart that you can tell this is very dated. So we're going to go ahead and change this up a little. First, what I want to do is I want to start by using one of these stamps. And I'm going to just get that open here, and then we'll move on. We're going to use this stamp here. I'm going to go ahead and get that off of there. And anytime that you're using a new stamp, you need to take a little sandpaper to it and just rough it up a little. They call that conditioning. So I have a better piece of sandpaper than in the last video. I know a lot of you are like, wow. So anyway, I'm just going to go over the stamp with a little sandpaper just to kind of rough it up. And I think that should be good. And I'm going to go ahead and get this price tag off. Not that it's going to matter, because guess what? We're going to use a little paper clay today. Yes, we are. Okay, so let me get my paper clay. I use the Creative paper clay. I've had this for quite a while, so yours is going to be a lot fresher than mine. And when it's fresh, it's so easy to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this paper clay, and I'm just going to smush it on the heart because we want this to be right in the middle there. Now when you do this, you really want to like push it down, smush it really good, and kind of feather out the edges. Okay. And you can use water too to help smooth it a little. I'm going to need just a little more paper clay here because we need it to be the length of the stamp here. I'm just going to continue to smush this down. And again, really get it on there because you don't want to have any problems later. I love this paper clay. I've been using this for years. It's such a great thing. see if that's big enough. I think so. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that the edges are really feathered out here and on there. Smooth this out just a little bit. I don't really want it real lumpy. And we are ready. We are gonna take our stamp and we're just gonna place that over that paper clay. And I'm gonna push really hard to make the indentation in there. Just go over that so that all the wording will be in there. I think this is making a really good imprint. I'm so excited to use these stamps. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Yes, that is definitely good. It took a really good imprint. And so we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what else we need to do in order to bring this up to date. Okay, so this is dry now, and we are going to take it outside and we're going to go spray it white. And we're gonna let that dry. Okay, so our picture is completely white. We sprayed it. I missed a little spot right here, but that's okay because it kind of looks like a chip. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of distress it a little along the rim with a little sandpaper. That looks really good. Just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use my Wise Owl black wax on this. And what you want to do is just kind of want to go over it. Then we'll wipe it off after. I'm going to take a cloth here and just going to wipe some of that away. I'm going to try to get in the lettering a little bit more. Then let's go ahead and wipe this again. Yeah, see, you really want to get in the lettering here, and it just makes it look so old and vintage. I think that looks really beautiful. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this wax on the handle, because you just don't want to antique this and leave the rest all white. Now we're going to go ahead and just distress the bowl a little, and we'll do the same process with the black wax. see how that looks. Just keep on doing a little bit here. Just marking it up. To take our black wax. Right, again, I'm using the Wise Owl black wax. We're going to put some of that. And then we're just going to rub on it. This gives it a nice, like, distressed kind of look. And when you're done, it should look something like this. It should look like a French basin. I think this came out really nice, and I think my mom's right. I think it's going to be a great seller. Now onto our TV tray. I had actually bought this last year, and this is a last year's project that I never finished. I only sprayed one coat, and it really needed a second coat. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm using Rust-Oleum flat white enamel paint, and I will leave a little link in the description in case you want to get some of that. So then I flipped it over and added a second coat to the top. As you can see, it has scratches because it's, been sitting around for a while, and you can definitely tell there was only one coat on there. So we're just going to let that dry, and then we'll go on to the next step. I found this 7 in her garage. It was on the ground. I have no idea where this 7 came from. But we're going to use it today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this. I'm going to paint this with graphite paint. Okay, so now that our number is painted, I'm going to take this contact paper here, and I'm gonna make a stencil that'll say NO dot for number 7. And I think that is gonna be really cute on our table. I made that design in Silhouette Studio, and then I cut it out on my Silhouette. Okay, so we cut out our stencil. We painted our number 7, and let's see where we want this to be on the hair. I'm thinking this is going to be really good just to put it right here. And then, so we want the stencil to be right next to it. Maybe I should move that over slightly. I think that will look good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the backing off, and we're going to put our stencil right here. Remember, this is just contact paper, so it's very thin, and you can only use it one time. So let's see. We said about right there, I think. Then I have this blue painter's tape, and right now the grain sack pattern is very hot, so we're going to do some lines along here, and I'm just going to go ahead and get that ready. So we're going to take our Annie Sloan chalk paint here, and we're going to do the NO dot, and then we're going to do the grain sack stripe. Okay, let's do this. Now we're just gonna lift our tape and we're gonna see what we got here. I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna let that dry and we're gonna sand it a little. Now let's take the numbers off and see what we have here. Nice. This will go right over that. It's gonna look cool. I realized I forgot the dot, so we have to do that. Okay, good. Done. Okay, so I am just going to use a little sandpaper here just to distress the line a bit. Not too much, just enough to soften that up. Okay, so we're going to try this flat top coat by Paint Couture, and I got that at Sweet and Sassy Treasures. They told me that, you know, if you don't want to use wax, this is perfect because it dries flat and it's a really good top coat. So we're going to give it a try. Okay, so as you can see, it's really creamy, but she said that it dries clear, so we'll give it a try. We're going to take that 7 off because we'll glue that afterwards. And I'm just going to go ahead and dip my brush in there and make sure I have no lint or anything. And we'll just see what happens here. Oh, it goes on very smooth, so that's nice. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this epoxy to glue on our 7. So I just got a little piece of tin foil. It's a 2-part epoxy. I'm just gonna squeeze out 2 equal parts. I got that. And I have a back of a plastic spoon that I'm just gonna mix this. And I'm gonna flip that over. I'm gonna just put some of that on there. Okay, we're gonna flip this over. And we have to position it. I think we had it about right there. Now with the warm weather coming, we're gonna have our potted plants outside, and we really want some really cool decorative ones. So I picked up these terracotta pots. This one was $1.99. As you can see, it's like a little rough, you know, very, very used. I remember them when they used to be 50 cents. But anyway, I have 2 small ones. I have 1 large one. What did I pay? $2.99 on that one. So we are gonna just really spruce these up. We're gonna make these look really cute and awesome. And we're gonna do that using these IOD molds. I have, in these IOD molds, I have little bees. So I thought that would look cute on a pot. See how cute these are? They're gonna look awesome. And then I also have some flowers, and I think you might have seen me do that on dressers. We're gonna use some of the smaller flowers and we're just gonna add them to the pots. We're gonna make these look so cute. All right, let's get started. Okay, I am just using my Magic Sculpt here. You know, I like to use this a lot. It's very durable. It's a 2-part epoxy resin. Now you always want to use cornstarch, because otherwise your clay is going to stick to your mold, and you don't want that because it's hard to get it out. Oh, that's not good. So we're going to make a couple bees here. So I'm just going to add a little cornstarch here to both of those. And then, like I said, we're going to make a few flowers. I think they're super cute. We'll do this one, and we'll do this one, and maybe a leaf. How does that sound? I'm gonna do a bigger flower too, I think. Okay, so now that we have those, I'm gonna just put that down like that. I'm gonna move our pots over because we're not quite ready for that. Put a piece of paper down. And I'm going to take my clay that we just mixed, and we're going to push it into some of these molds here. So first, let's go ahead and do the bee. I'm going to go ahead and push that in there. Got my little bee that's already hardened. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over, and you like to roll it back, and voila. Look how cute. Okay, so we have our large bee done, and now we're gonna make the smaller bee. I'm just gonna push some of that clay in there. Now that's our little bee. We might make 2 of those. I think we should make 2 of those. So we have our little bee, and we're just gonna roll this back, and voila. Here's our little bee. Okay, I have 2 little bees now, and I have the large bee, so we'll put that over here. And then let's go ahead and make a few flowers. I think that's gonna be super cute. Just gonna push that clay down again into our mold. And remember, don't forget to cornstarch it. I'm gonna flip that over. I like to roll it. And our little flower just popped out. It's super cute, isn't it? Very cute. And I think we need to have this leaf too. Let's make this leaf. As you know, I like my Type Bond for furniture applique. And let's go ahead and start getting ready for this here. You know, I'll take that off after. I'll do it on this front. I don't want to take up your time there. So we're gonna start with using some of the flowers. I still haven't got a new bottle of Type Bond, so I'm just gonna put a little on my finger here. Oh, too much. Okay, that's okay. Start by using this flower. We're gonna put a little of that glue on the back. Again, this is like, you know, it's not dry, it's just real flexible, and you're gonna be able to just put it on there with ease. So just lightly press that down, and let's see, and just design it how you want it. I love this. We'll use this. Be careful with the kind of put that around. That looks so cute. Okay, and this Type On is tight, so make sure you have it where you want it. Otherwise, you may be stuck with it. Just put them where you think they're gonna look good. I mean, to me, this looks super cute. I might, you know what? Yeah, I like that better. Kind of having it waved around. Okay, so I think that looks pretty cute. I love that. And see, like, I can't even move these around. So like I said, make sure that you have it where you want it. You know what, I have to do one. We're just gonna go over the top with this. I have to do one more. I mean, why not? You can do whatever you want. So we're adding a little glue there. I'm gonna put that right on the edge. I think that looks so cute. Okay, so now we have all our flowers on there, and we're gonna let that dry. Again, you know, you can't use these when they're hard because they won't wrap around. You have to make them, and then while they're soft, put them on your curved surface, okay? So we're gonna let that dry, and then we'll move on to the bees. You know what? I think we're gonna use this stamp again. I think it'll look really cool on a pot. Let's do that on a pot too. Okay, so we'll use it on our larger pot. I'm gonna get the paper clay. Hold on. Again, we're using the Creative paper clay for this. And I'm just gonna smush a little on there on the front of our pot. We need enough that the whole stamp can go over there. So when you're doing this, really push it down onto your pot. Even go over it a little with your hands. I really push that stuff on there and I feather out the edge. If you're worried about it coming off, you could always use a little Elmer's glue. And then, once you have some glue on there, then you can smush this down. I mean, you shouldn't have a problem if you really smush it down and feather out the sides. But I know I've heard in the comments that some people are concerned that it's going to come off. If you're concerned about that, just use a little glue and then smear it on there, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. like I said, I've been using this for years. And if you really smush it down and feather out the edges, you should be fine. Okay, I'm gonna push that up. And we'll go ahead and see if that's enough for our stamp. I think we just need just a teeny bit more. We're going to take our stamp and then we're going to place that over it. And again, using your fingers and your thumb, you're going to just really work that lettering into the paper clay. You want to make sure you have a nice imprint. I think that should be good. So I'm going to lift that off there. Oh yeah, that is like perfect. That's the best you can ask for. I'm just gonna get some of this off the side. All right, we're gonna let that dry. But you know what? I think I'm gonna add a couple bees to it too. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that we have this on here, I think what we're gonna do is add a couple bees to it. So I'm using my Titebond and we're gonna go ahead and just put a couple little bees on here. I was gonna use the big bee, but it's just too much because we have all the writing and then so we'll put one of our bees right here. I put a little of that Titebond on the back. How cute is that? And then maybe we'll add one more bee. And how about we put that other bee right here? So it's sort of like they landed on there and they're meeting. Okay, we're gonna let this dry. And I think this is gonna come out super cute. Let that dry. I am just gonna finish up the other pot that we have. We had 2 small pots. I'm just gonna add some flowers to that one and we're gonna finish that up. And we'll let that dry and I'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna use some of, let's see, Little Black Dress, and we're gonna paint our pots. Our pots are completely dry and we're gonna go ahead and paint them. You wanna make sure that you get in all the little crevices here because that's gonna show our detail. So I'm just really trying to get into all those areas. Okay, so our pots are completely dry. This is what that paint looks like dry. It's very flat and it's very black. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the Vaseline. Sorry, the label's coming off, but we're gonna use the Vaseline method here. It's a little technique that you use if you want some of the black to show through and you don't have to really sand that much. So we're just gonna tap it in certain areas, like just around the edges. That's always a good spot. We're just gonna, then here or there, you know. This will give it a very chippy paint effect. And I'm gonna also do it with the littler ones. I'll just add a little bit. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we are gonna paint this white. Are you ready? Let's do this. So I'm just gonna dip my brush in there and I'm gonna hit it in spots. We don't wanna cover up the writing, we just kinda wanna go over our pot. See how the lettering's standing out on that? We don't want to get the paint in the grooves because we want this to stand out. So I'm just gonna hit it one more time, and then that's gonna be about it for the lettering. See, even the detail in the B, you can see every little line, and that's what we want. You don't have to worry about covering this whole thing because, again, we're looking for like a chipped up paint look. So you don't want the whole thing painted, just enough. Okay, so we're gonna use a little of this prairie gray and we're gonna layer that on top of this white. I think it's gonna look awesome. This is really a cool color. I'm just putting this on very lightly. I mean, it's almost being like dry brushed on there. And see how it looks a little dirty, like a pot would, but yet there's some white coming through. Gonna keep doing this like we're just kind of really rubbing that in. Just want to really just kind of scrub that in. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna let that dry. I really love this color. This is a great color. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry on there. And I'm gonna do the same with these little ones here. Okay, so I have all three of these done now, and we are gonna let them dry, and then we're gonna take a little sandpaper to them. Okay, we're just gonna take a little sandpaper, and we're gonna sand just a little bit. See where we had the Vaseline? It just comes off so easy. And then look, it looks old, doesn't it? And we put a little Vaseline right over here again. Nice, right? See how that just chipped? Which that's why you put the Vaseline on there. See how easy that came off? And that's because we put the Vaseline. Anywhere we put the Vaseline, it just easily is going to come off the ridge. It's going to go like this. And anywhere we put the Vaseline, it's going to come through. See how that just kind of gave that chipped look? Okay, we're going to use a little dark wax here. I have dark wax by Annie Sloan, and we're just going to rub it over some of this here. This just gives it a little more grubbier look. Okay, now that we have these all done, and they have these nice rich tones, and it just looks so old. I found this at the thrift store, Salvation Army, for $2.99. It has 3 compartments, and it's just like a little tray, a wooden tray. So what we can do to stage this, we could put one here, one in the middle, we'll put one on the end, and then let's go ahead and add some greenery. I got this greenery at Hobby Lobby, and it's just really cool. So put that one maybe a little like this. We'll add one more on the end here. And how about we add one of our hang tags? I'm gonna use this one because I don't know, I just love the clock. That's from my literature series of hang tags in my Etsy store.
If you like this episode of Flea Market Rescue and you want to see more episodes like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. I'm Kelly Sherry, and this has been Flea Market Rescue.